People are always asking me, Andrew, how have you and your wife survived 19 years in your relationship? And I think it's a great question, especially when thinking back on our relationship, there were long periods of time when the only thing we loved about each other was hating each other. And so I empathize, because what I hear is, I hear a question for help. And I want to help. And so I search for answers. And the short answer is, we put in the work. We did the time to make it work. But that answer is not good enough. It's not sexy enough. Not for you anyways. So I went out and searched for other answers. And I came up with one pretty amazing answer. And that answer is in the form of a question. A question that people have been asking for many years. What came first? The chicken or the egg? And it's a magical egg, as you'll see. Speaking of chickens, did you know that Colonel Sanders was 65 when he started his Kentucky Fried Chicken empire? Now you might be asking, Andrew, what does Kentucky Fried Chicken or Colonel Sanders have to do with relationships? And I say, 65 is typically an age when people are ready to retire. People are ready to chill out and just relax for the second half of that life. They've already done all the work and lived a great life. But not Colonel Sanders. Colonel Sanders took it upon himself at the age of 65 to make something wonderful and magical happen in his life in the form of Kentucky Fried Chicken. So I ask you, what age or what stage are you in your relationship? And are you willing to take the time, no matter where you are, to make it work, to make it magical? And if you are, then you're ready for the chicken and the egg. So I want you to think about two concepts. Think about feelings of love and think about acts of love. Now think about when your relationship started. What did it start with? The feeling of love or the act of love? And you'll find that the answer is in the act of love. You meet somebody and you're a little bit chicken. That's where the chicken comes first here. You're chicken because you're scared to divulge information about yourself. And so you have long conversations and you share flowers and time together and you go to dinners and movies and you have special moments, and everything is focused around making the other person feel special. Those are what the acts of love are. And those acts of love develop into this feeling of love. And then you can say you are in love. But then something happens. With time, you become comfortable, you become complacent, so those acts of love start to diminish. And little by little, because the acts of love diminish, so does that sensation, that feeling of love. And so you hear people start saying, we've grown apart, or we're just not in love anymore, or we're two different people now. And that's because they've stopped the most important ingredient, which are the acts of love. So if you want to rekindle your relationship, if you want to make it great again, or if you're in a good relationship, if you want to even make it better, focus on those acts of love and you'll start to see a wonderful improvement. And you can start building something that'll be a long-lasting and passionate relationship. Much like my wife and I did. And much like my parents did. They just celebrated 44 years of marriage, which is a beautiful thing. And so if my parents are watching this, I want to say, Mom and Dad, congratulations. I love you. Thank you for your example. And now that I think about it, my mother-in-law and father-in-law have almost 60 years. So between my wife and I, we have 100 years of example of how to live a long-lasting and passionate relationship. And so what I've decided to do is create a resource so that people like you and me can have a long-lasting relationship. So I'm developing something called the Forever Formula. And I'd like to give you a sneak peek into that today in a gift in the form of a resource. And this resource is called the Love Loop. 4 steps to building an irresistible relationship. And isn't irresistibility what we want? It's what I focus on most in my life and my relationship. I think it's one of the reasons why my wife and I have had 4 children in the last 4 years. Because when you get to that stage, it's almost like that very beginning when you feel that sense of passion, when you want to be with that person more than anything in the world. And so if you want to get your hands on that, I'm going to post a link at the bottom of this video here. Just click on the link and I'll be more than happy to send it to you. That way you can get your way on the road to building a long-lasting and irresistible relationship. This is Andrew Ramirez saying, don't forget about the chicken and the egg, and certainly don't be chicken. Focus on those acts of love, and you too can have a long-lasting and passionate relationship. And this is me again saying, release yesterday, break through today, and make a wonderful relationship tomorrow. Thank you.